Hey, welcome back to Spraker Homestead. I'm Kanan.
I'm Nikki.
We took a little break from making videos because, well, we just didn't feel like it. So there, take it.
No, well, yeah, that is kind of true. We've been busy, and quite frankly, the world is kind of a depressing place right now. I felt like everything we were making there for a little bit was all bad news, and there is an awful lot of that, and some bad news videos still to come. But yeah, it's just kind of a goofy time right now. So we took a little time off. Haven't even made a mailbag Monday here in a couple weeks, and getting back to it now.
So just because we haven't turned on a camera and filming, you have known for a long time that we always say we're homesteaders first, YouTubers second. So that means, well, we're always busy doing something, and today we're going to walk you through what we've been doing lately.
So one project I've been meaning to do, this chicken tractor that we'd had kind of fell apart, kind of wasn't being utilized in the backyard, and we moved it over here to a really shady section in the garden. Not a great section, super rocky, and these are my on-site composting chickens. So as I'm pulling weeds, they are getting all of that thrown into their pen. There are 3 hens and a rooster in there. They're already laying, and just kind of trying something different. Rather than carrying a bunch of compost out to the chickens or trying to compost it, we are trying to do it right here on site. And because it's a mobile tractor, once they're kind of done tearing this up, we'll just keep going forward and then move them over. So it's been warmer than normal. Usually this time of year we still have snow. We've actually been in the 70s a couple of times already, and the forecast for next week, I think we've got an upper 70s day still. So I haven't done much in the garden, but slowly starting to work on it. Like I said, I did a little bit of weeding, mostly on my chive plants. We've got our garlic, our spring garlic coming up from where I planted it in the fall. It's looking pretty good, and usually I don't plant the potatoes quite this early, but I think here in the next couple weeks I'm going to go ahead and get those in the garden, in the ground, and get going on them because, yeah, we're way ahead for temperature. Unfortunately, we're way behind for moisture. The forecast and the information came out this morning and said we are 3 inches behind for the year. That's a big deal because we should be at 3.68 inches. And we are at 0.66, so kind of a bad thing already for the grow season.
So another project Nikki worked on lately was getting our old Harbor Freight greenhouse back right. So it kind of gets sun dried out, the panels get brittle and they break out, and of course the cats go in there to sleep because it's nice and warm. So you can see on the sides there she has replaced 2 of the panels. The 3 or 4 center ones are kind of yellowish, meaning they're drying out, and the 2 new ones are on the end. So we bought those, and she has replaced the doors. The doors slide open and close now, and we can lock this at night to keep the heat in. And then Nikki is organizing it right now, just getting ready to be able to put some starts in here, get this organized up, and then she has her water barrels that will need to get filled to be able to keep heat in here throughout the night. Now this last week has been the first of 2 weeks of burn season, so we have been burning as much as we can. The last couple of days we've really put effort into getting this front field burned off. So I've taken a lot of the material out under the trees. You can kind of see how dry and brown it is back there. That was under 6 inches of needles and pine cones, which has probably never been cleaned out. So I'm still kind of working around here, but you can see my piles still smoking a little bit. They are still hot, but we've been burning. And then I worked on that far one over there. It's still probably the smokiest, but we're getting this cleaned up, and then we'll probably not run goats on it this year, letting the grass really build up, and we'll get it cleaned up and ready for using next year. So one of the recent things Nikki and I did is to actually put together a nice way to go into the barns. Now, when we do hay season, any other time we always have these panels we had to slide in and out, and Nikki went and bought these goat panels for a project, and we thought, you know, let's put a couple of nice ones on here and make it easy. So now you can just lift it up, go in, shut it, very simply, and now you can keep everything out, but you can still bring a manure cart in and do everything else. This has been a huge deal to have this so easy to go in and out with one hand. Before you kind of had to fiddle with a panel and it always wanted to fall, and oh my gosh, it was such a mess. But this has been a huge thing that Nikki did, really to help me out day to day. So one of the other things that we had gotten was a milking stanchion to help trim feet and to milk goats. Now Nikki had planned to do a special project of kind of building one, and we just never really got it the last few years. Just never got the time available, and really never made it a priority. And then lumber, as you've known if you bought anything, has been really, really expensive. So we priced out putting together a kit. This is from Premier One for a stanchion, and you just buy it and it comes in kind of a few pieces. You put it together. And I'll tell you, I think this is going to be a lot better. One, it was a lot easier to put together. Two, we already had the space for it. We don't have to build anything special in the barn. All right, you just walk a goat up, put them a little feed in there, and they are ready to go. And it's going to save our backs from doing, probably to cut feet especially. We always have to hold them, do everything else. Now we can just kind of put their head in here and just give them some feed to chew on, and they will probably get their feet probably cut a little easier. And then it was a one-shot deal. We didn't have to mess with it too much. So big project, trying to make it easier on us as we get a little older and keep on homesteading.
And I'll say off camera, so the ramp is removable. You can see the actual handle. This is the coolest modular setup. It came out of the box in about a minute and a half. So the ramp comes off, so it's out of the way when we're not using it. The side rails were an add-on. You don't have to get them, but they pop in and out. So if I'm going to milk a shorter goat or whatever, I can take whatever side off I don't need. And then we bought two different heads. So the one that Kanan's touching is a trimmer head. So the goat puts her head into it, and then you actually chain around the back to hold their head. And it's fully adjustable up to down. The other piece is the milking stanchion piece. So that's a feed box. They put their head through, and it kind of ratchets closed. Again, it goes in where the other piece is. I won't lie, it was a little pricey, but compared to lumber and time, still so much better than making one myself. So one of my big projects this year, every year really, is trying to get a jump on fire season and keep our trees all trimmed up. So I went through with my new electric Ryobi 10-inch chainsaw, which I'll probably do a review video on here pretty soon. And I cut, I don't know, probably about 80 trees so far. Now, how far I trimmed up kind of varies depending on the height of the tree. But everything got trimmed up at least 4 feet. Some are up basically 6. And then this was only round 1. So forestry management is kind of a multi-level thing. So what I did was anything I could do with the a little electric 10-inch. There are juniper trees that I didn't even try because juniper is so hard. And I'll come through with the gas powered chainsaw for those. And then I will come back with the pole saw on some of these bigger trees and actually try and get them up 8 or 10 feet. And that's just the recommendations we've been given from the Forest Service when I first moved here for fire prevention. And then after that's done, we'll be going through and trying to cut out sagebrush and anything that is within about 15-20 feet of those trees down low. So it's a multi-stage process. I spent 4 days doing some chainsawing, and still quite a bit to go. And this is just on the main 20. So we have a bunch of trees on the other remaining 80 acres that I haven't quite gotten to yet. It's kind of a big project, lots of walking, really hard on my shoulder muscles after a while, and arm muscles. So going to be something that continues as long as we can do chainsawing this year. So beyond that, there's another chicken pen that got fixed out back. We'd go back there, but it's super noisy because we have like 4 roosters right there, and you can hear them from here.
Yeah.
It's worse when you're standing there. We got that. I have been busy cleaning and doing stuff in the rabbit barns. Have a couple new litters today. Did some pressure washing last night. So trying to get all the barns cleaned up and ready. I am going out of town in 2 weeks. Driving all the way to Illinois for Harlequin Nationals. It's a long way, and gas prices are not making me feel any better about it. But I'm driving up to Missoula, Montana, and then driving with a friend over. This will be my first Harlequin National since 2019, which it was in Indiana, so it's still a long drive. The big reason to go, I don't have a whole lot to show right now, but the big reason, I found some silver martins. Anybody who's watched for very long knows I got some silver martins back in the fall, 2 beautiful does, and could not find a buck to breed them to anywhere on the West Coast. So I got in touch with an ARBA judge who is very well known and respected in the breed, Tex Thomas, who has graciously agreed to not only sell me 2 bucks and a doe, but his wife is driving them up to Illinois to meet me. She's going to be there for the Florida White National, which is also being held at that same show. So beyond that, I'm bringing home some Japanese, Harlequins, some more of those, and with a little bit of luck, a new American buck. I've been really displeased with what I bought in California last year, to the point that I'm probably putting a whole bunch of them in the freezer. The nicest looking of the does is the worst tempered thing I have ever seen in my life. It's from a breeder that has been known to breed some New Zealand in there, and quite frankly, if Satan were a rabbit, it would be her. She is absolutely crazy. The buck that I bought from her, not much better, and throwing way too much, 1, funky color, and 2, New Zealand looking stuff, which we are not at all pleased with. He gets a few more chances, but he's probably on his way out.
Yeah, so beyond that, of course, Nikki's going to be out of town. I'll be maintaining everything, and I haven't done a lot of homesteading lately. I vowed to finish a car 3 years ago, and
quick flip.
It was a quick flip that kind of cascaded and got in the way of other things, and so I finally got it done. Took me a couple months of just staying at it almost every day, a few hours every day, trying to get it there. But with that done, Nikki's going to go to her national show. And when she gets back, we have a lot of fencing to do. So we have kind of been stockpiling a little bit here and there of pieces to put this together. And so we are going to do a lot of fencing. And then from there, it's gardening. Still, we're going to clean up. We've got some new pens we're going to put together for the geese, some chickens. We'll probably do some freezer camp for some birds we have. And then just kind of keep moving on.
Yeah, lots and lots of projects still to go. And I am a resource leader for Klamath County yet again for Rabbit 4-H. This may be my last year. We're doing a beginning rabbit basics kind of thing on Sunday for 2 hours at our local fairgrounds to kind of get the new kids kicked off right. Unfortunately, last year, all the animal projects sold for way more than they should have. And what happens when that occurs is you get a lot of kids that sign up to do projects that have no interest in agriculture, no interest in animals, but have tremendous interest in money. So we have some 60-odd kids signed up. I don't have a good feeling about it. I've already heard some really, really foolish things come out of the mouth of leaders. Basically, they're buying anything and everything to try and make $1, and that kind of makes me extremely sad. So, gonna be busy with that. The cookbook is doing all right. We have sold over 60 copies now. I know everybody's probably like, that's it? But we knew it was going to be a long, slow slog. It's very niche-y. I'm an unknown author. It's not the easiest thing to find on Amazon. And I will say this, if you bought the cookbook through Amazon and liked it, please go in and leave me a review. We've sold like 45 copies through Amazon. The rest were private sales that I mailed out or sold at shows. And those reviews actually do help. I have 2 right now. So if you bought it, please go in and leave a review if you get a chance. You don't have to type out a novel. You can just give it a star rating. And if you thought it sucked, please don't. Only the people who liked it, please.
So plenty of things to come ahead. If you guys have any questions on anything we've done so far, anything we're going to do, or if you have requests of showing certain aspects of what we're going to work on, just let us know. Leave us a comment down below. And that is it for today. We have plenty of things to do. And that's it.
Lots of rabbit videos I'm finishing. I know I had a bunch of requests, and it's hard to finish stuff in the winter, even though we weren't getting a lot of rain. We did have a lot of snow and wind and just days that don't make good outside videoing.
And the star of the show has finally shown up. So with that, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Happy homesteading.